National and religious holidays, as well as memorial days, have played an important role in people's lives. While most of the Christian holidays are traditionally connected to rural life, agriculture, work and family, and have served as milestones throughout the year for centuries, the concept of national memorial days is a much more modern phenomenon that emphasizes the importance of common heritage and achievement. According to the Constitution, the national holidays of Hungary shall be the 15th of March, in memory of the 1848–49 Revolution and War of Independence. The 20th of August, in memory of the state's founding and its founder King St. Stephen. The 23rd of October, in memory of the 1956 Revolution and War of Independence. Out of which three, the official state holiday shall be the 20th day of August. Probably the most popular amongst all Hungarian national holidays is the day of the 1848–49 Revolution and War of Independence against the Habsburg dynasty and Austria. In the spring of 1848, following the rebellions in Paris and Vienna, a protest was mounted in Café Pilvax in the city of Pest by young intellectuals, such as the famous poet Sándor Petőfi, and turned into a revolution on the 15th of March. Demand for major reforms was articulated by the list of the 12 demands, including the reunion of Hungary with Transylvania, more independence for the country, amnesty for political prisoners, and the shift of the Hungarian parliament from Pozsony to the twin cities of Pest-Buda. The revolutionaries marched around Pest and read Sándor Petőfi's poem Nemzeti Dal, National Song, and the 12 demands to the crowd. They symbolically captured the printers' workshop of Landerer and Heckenast and printed the two texts to distribute them to the public. A mass demonstration was held in front of the newly built National Museum, after which the group left for the chancellery of the Governor-General in Buda. As a result of the bloodless revolution, all demands were accepted and several constitutional reforms were adopted and approved by the monarch. But as soon as the monarchy's political power had been stabilized, the Austrian chancellery, along with influential members of the imperial and royal family, decided to remove Emperor Ferdinand from power, as he was claimed to be mentally disabled and incapable for ruling the empire. Under the influence of his cabinet and his mother, the new emperor Franz Joseph replaced his uncle Ferdinand on the throne and rejected all the reforms previously signed by Ferdinand. Austria began to take up arms against Hungary, and the War of Independence broke out. Commemorations on the 15th of March are held in every major settlement, usually at statues or on squares and streets named after Sándor Petőfi, Lajos Kossuth, and other main figures of the War of Independence. School celebrations, with speeches, music and poetry, including pieces such as Petőfi's national song, are also common. People wear tricolor cockades of colors of the national flag, red, white and green, as a symbol of the revolution, the same that was worn by freedom fighters in 1848–49. Besides public celebrations, state awards of the highest level, such as the Kossuth and Széchenyi prizes, are also announced on this occasion. St. Stephen's Day is celebrated on the 20th of August as commemoration of St. Stephen, the first king of Hungary, the founder of the Christian state. After the death of his father, Stephen became the leader of the tribes and managed to defeat his opposition, led by his uncle, Duke Koppány. Stephen was crowned first king of Hungary in Esztergom on the 1st of January 1001. Pope Sylvester II granted him full power of holding the cross and founding bishoprics. The Church in Hungary gained independence, which helped the king stabilize a strong position for Hungary in Europe. Stephen established a network of 10 episcopal and 2 archiepiscopal sees, and ordered the foundation of monasteries, churches and cathedrals all around his realm. After his death, his cult started to spread around the kingdom and in other Christian states. Because of his excellent work in upholding Christianity, Stephen was canonized by the Church in 1083. And so was his son, Prince Emmerich, who died before his father, and Bishop Gerard, who died as a martyr when he was killed by pagans rebelling against the new faith after the death of the first king. Various events, fairs and commemorations are held all around the country on St. Stephen's Day. As it comes after the harvest season, the new bread is blessed by priests. In Budapest, a parade of the Hungarian Air Force is organized over the Danube. A procession is also held in downtown Budapest to present the mummified right hand of St. Stephen, the so-called Holy Right, or Szent Jobb in Hungarian, a relic kept in St. Stephen's Basilica. The inauguration and the oath of new police and army officers is held on Hero Square. Important state prizes, such as the Kossuth Prize, are awarded on this day too. For the last few years, a new tradition has been the confectioners' competition, in which the winning work is recognized as the birthday cake of the country and is sold in cake shops all across the country. St. Stephen's Day celebrations are topped off with a half-hour-long fireworks display on the banks of the Danube, on the bridges and on Gellért Hill in Budapest. Hundreds of thousands of people gathered to watch this amazing final from the riverbanks, the Buda Hills and rooftops. Another uprising, the 1956 Revolution and War of Independence against the occupying Soviet Union and its communist regime, is commemorated on the 23rd of October. One day before the rebellion started, on the 22nd of October 1956, students of the Budapest University of Technology summarized their demands in 16 points, and the following day they organized a demonstration in solidarity with the Polish strikers in Gdansk. Their points included the withdrawal of Soviet troops from Hungary, the formation of a new government led by the reformed communist Imre Nagy, democratic elections, freedom of opinion and speech, and a free radio. On the 23rd of October, the peaceful demonstration turned into a mass uprising within less than an hour. During the night, protesters occupied the headquarters of the Hungarian Radio and Free People, the journal of the party. The hated symbol of oppression, Budapest's giant statue of Stalin, was demolished. The Soviet-like coat of arms was cut out of national flags, and the flag with the hole in the middle became the symbol of the revolution and heroic fight for freedom. Imre Nagy became prime minister and announced a peaceful transition to democracy. Commemorations are organized all around Hungary on the 23rd of October, especially at places that played an important role in the 1956 fights, such as Corvinköz, the former headquarters of the Hungarian Radio, or the statue of Joseph Bem in Budapest. Similarly to the other two national holidays, some high-level state awards and prizes are presented on this day. Besides these three national holidays, there are several official memorial days endorsed by the state. In contrast to the memory of glorious revolutions, wars of independence that were lost are commemorated on two national days of mourning. The 6th of October is the Memorial Day of the Martyrs of Arad, the executed leaders of the 1848–1849 War of Independence. In the glorious spring of 1849, the Hungarian army, called Honvédség or National Defense Force in English, won a series of victories against the Austrian armies. The House of Habsburg was dethroned in the Hungarian part of their empire, and Lajos Kossuth became governor and president of the country, while Debrecen was chosen as capital for the time being, since Pozsony, Pest and Buda were all under Austrian occupation. It seemed Austria could not deal with the situation and Hungary would win the war. In his need, Franz Joseph asked for the help of the Russian Tsar Nicholas I. In June, Transylvania was invaded by Russian troops from the east, while the Austrian armies marched from the west. Hungarian forces were overwhelmed by the two armies together, and, disobeying Kossuth's orders, General Artur Görgei surrendered in August 1849. The Austrian Marshal Julius Freiherr von Haynau was then appointed governor of Hungary, bearing absolute power. On the 6th of October, Haynau ordered the execution of certain leaders of the Hungarian army, who are remembered in Hungarian folklore and memory as the 13 Martyrs of Arad. Prime Minister Batthyány was executed in Pest. After the fall of the War of Independence, life in Hungary was overshadowed by decades of tyranny. On this day, the national flag is flown at half-mast, as symbol of mourning. The 4th of November is the Memorial Day of the defeat of the 1956 revolution. 2 days after the glorious events of the 23rd of October 1956, Soviet tanks opened fire on the protesting crowd on Kossuth Square in front of the parliament from the surrounding buildings. Fights started all around the city and the country and culminated in a short-lived victory of freedom fighters. Since the rest of the world was preoccupied with the ongoing Suez Crisis in Egypt, the Soviets managed to defeat Hungary without intervention by the West. On the 4th of November, the Red Army occupied Budapest and the resistance was crushed within days. The state power was taken by the Soviet-backed government of János Kádár, a traitor to the revolution. Almost 200,000 people immigrated from Hungary to Western countries. Prime Minister Imre Nagy was captured and executed. Commemorating the dreadful revenge after the revolution, the national flag is on half-mast, as a symbol of mourning on this day too. The 4th of June is the anniversary of the Treaty of Trianon. The Austro-Hungarian Empire collapsed during the Great War, and the Habsburgs found themselves dethroned in both Austria and Hungary. Negotiations on a new world order started in Paris and the neighboring Versailles. Hungary and other defeated countries were not invited to take part until the final texting of the treaties. The peace treaty with Hungary was signed on the 4th of June 1920 at the Trianon Palace in Versailles. As a result, the area of the Kingdom of Hungary was reduced from 282,000 square kilometers to 93,000 square kilometers, to only one-third of its original size. Its population was reduced from 18.2 million to 7.6 million, which is a 43% loss. Romania received the largest area, 103,000 square kilometers, which was bigger than the remaining Hungarian territories. Transylvania and Partium, with a population of more than 5 million, including almost 2 million Hungarians, became part of Romania. The newly born Czechoslovakia annexed 61,000 square kilometers of the Upper Hungarian territories, including the former royal capital Pozsony, which was renamed Bratislava. As addition to Croatia-Slavonia, originally an autonomous region, the newly emerged Kingdom of the Serbs, Croats and Slovens, the future Yugoslavia, took 20,000 square kilometers, including Vojvodina and the Mura region. In order to avoid its union with Germany, even Austria was given some territories. 4,000 square kilometers of western Transdanubia would form the future Austrian province Burgenland. Poland and Italy also received a few square kilometers of the historical Hungarian territories. Although the 4th of June is the anniversary of the tragic and unjust Treaty of Trianon, which was definitely one of the saddest days in the history of the country, the parliament declared it the National Day of Unity, which has a brighter message, a symbol of endurance and fight for national survival of both those in a majority in the remaining territories and those in a minority in lands now part of neighboring states. Besides these national holidays and memorial days, there are a number of other public holidays. Some of them are religious, like Christmas, Easter, Pentecost, and All Saints' Day. Others are secular holidays, such as New Year's Day and Labor Day. Among others, Carnival days in January and February, the International Women's Day on the 8th of March, Mother's Day on the first Sunday of May, Children's Day on the last Sunday of May, St. Nicholas Day on the 5th and 6th of December, Advent, the 4 Sundays before Christmas, Christmas Eve on the 24th of December, and New Year's Eve on the last day of the year. The 31st of December are also observed, however, they are not public holidays.